Have you ever felt like your life is being directed by rules that you actually never chose? Rules and expectations that were placed on you just because of the family you were born into or the culture you grew up in? So, in psychology, we talk about family roles and invisible loyalties. These are the unspoken rules and expectations that shape how we see ourselves and how we behave in relationships. Society and culture, they reinforce these roles too, creating programming that feels like truth. But in reality, it's just conditioning. Some common examples are, for example, if you're the oldest sibling, you're responsible for the younger ones. That's a role, that's an expectation. Or if you earn more money than your family, you're supposed to share it, even if it leaves you struggling, like it's your responsibility. Or if you become a parent, you're expected to raise your children the same way that you were raised, even if it didn't feel healthy, even if it's obvious that it was not healthy for you. Or if your parents had certain dreams or expectations, it's your duty to fulfill them. And in many cultures, you're expected to be the one responsible for your parents when they age, regardless of how healthy or unhealthy the relationship has been throughout the years. It's just an expectation. So these expectations, they become invisible loyalties. They keep us bound to roles that we never consciously chose. The caretaker, the responsible one, the peacemaker, the achiever. And while loyalty in families can create connection, it can also limit our growth and keep us stuck. So the problem is that when our identity is shaped by these roles, we lose touch with who we really are. Maybe you stay in jobs you hate because of financial obligations to family. Or maybe you silence your authentic self because being a good girl or a good boy was how you earned love and acceptance. Maybe you live with guilt when you try to live differently because independence is seen as betrayal. This is how culture, society, and family systems engineer our behavior, not through freedom, but through guilt, shame, and fear of rejection. Now, the truth is that family roles and loyalties are not always bad, but when they come at the cost of your authenticity, your joy, or your mental health, they become chains, like you become an emotional slave. The work of healing is learning to honor your family without losing yourself, to see the difference between genuine values like love, compassion, kindness, respect, and programming that keeps you small. In therapy, we can explore where these expectations came from, how they show up in your relationships, and how to set healthy boundaries. But often, those loyalties are deeply embedded at the subconscious level. And that is where PSYCH-K comes in such a powerful and beautiful way. It helps reprogram the beliefs that keeps you tied to the roles you never chose. So you can create new patterns that reflect who you really are. From there, you can step into interdependence where you can love and care for others freely without guilt, obligation, or resentment. Imagine living without the weight of roles that were never truly yours. Imagine choosing your path with clarity and peace. not fear or guilt. That is what becomes possible when you release those invisible loyalties and reprogram the beliefs that keeps you stuck. If this speaks to you, I would love to support you on your path to freedom and happiness. Thank you so much for joining and watching the video.